Well, I want to start today with a story, and it's a really quick story, but it's a story about someone named Florence Chadwick. Now, Chadwick was a record holder. She was an incredible swimmer, and she was the first swimmer to swim across the English Channel. She actually did that in both directions, and not only did she set the record for doing it, but she set the record for doing it in the time she did. So a little bit after that, July 4th, 1952, she steps into the water, the cold water of the Pacific Ocean off the coast, of Catalina Island in California. She wanted to be the first to swim from Catalina Island to the mainland of California. Now, that day, the weather, she stepped her foot in, it's foggy, the fog continues to roll in, it's not ideal conditions. She could hardly see the boats that were accompanying her along the way. Still, she swam for 15 hours straight. Now, as she swam, the fog continued to get thicker and thicker. And when she looked to the boat next to her, she begged to get in. And it actually was the boat that her mom was in. And her mom told her, "No, you're almost there. You can do this," just like a good mom would. Chadwick kept swimming, but a little while later, she told the team, she said, "I don't think that I can do it. I don't think I can finish the swim." Yet she kept pushing through for another hour. An hour later, physically, emotionally, just absolutely drained, she finally had enough. She'd asked the team to pull her into the boat. And as soon as she got into the boat, she discovered that the shore was less than a half a mile away. At a news conference the next day, she said, I quote, "All I could see was the fog. I think if I could have seen the shore, I would have made it." So 2 months after that fateful day, Chadwick, she wanted to attempt it again. She wasn't going to accept defeat. So once again, she put her foot in the water, and just about that time, fog rolled in again. She'd been here before. She'd seen this before. But this time was different. This time she had a mental image of the shore. She kept that image in her mind, and she pushed herself all the way through the fog, and she accomplished her goal. Not only did she succeed in getting to the mainland of California, being the first woman to swim that channel, but she ended up making that same swim 2 additional times. So I tell you that story to start our conversation, to ask you what's the lesson. The first lesson in her incredible true story is the importance of vision. What we know is that vision drives decision. Vision gets us into action, and it helps keep us in action. Many people quit working towards their goals. They stop doing what it takes to get to where it was they said they wanted to go, right on the brink of its realization. It's when challenges feel the most daunting that we're often closer to our goals than we think. In real estate markets like we find ourselves in right now, there are a lot of agents that call it quits. They throw in the towel, they get in the lifeboat, and they go on to a different career. They can't see the shore, and without that vision, the fog becomes just too much to take. They end up focusing on the fog because they can't see the shore. Sometimes they feel like giving up because they don't have the strength to stay afloat any longer. See, agents are the same way. This is our fog. This market that we're in is our fog, and what we need to get us through is clarity of vision. Because what we know to be true is when we keep swimming and we paddle through the fog, we find that when we come out of the fog on the other side, we have fewer competitors swimming alongside of us. The key is when we have clear vision of where we're going, why we're going there, what's important, we can paddle through a little fog. We're also going to discover that fog doesn't last forever, which makes swimming through it a little bit easier next time it arrives. Now, in order to thrive in the market we find ourselves in, we got to do 3 things. The first is we have to have clear vision, knowing exactly what we want. Now, the second one we're going to next, the second C, is we have to have clear focus. We have to know what to do in order to get what we want. Once we identify where we're going, our objective, we have to have clarity and narrow down our focus on what actions are most likely to get us where we want to go. What we know is there's a great research study by Locke and Latham published in the American Psychological Association years ago that found when people followed 2 principles, meaning they have challenging and specific goals, they're 90% more likely to accomplish said goals. So instead of saying, I want to lose some weight, say, I want to lose this much weight in this month by doing these things. And you have a 90% better chance of accomplishing your goal. So having a clear vision, knowing what we want, having clear focus, knowing what to do are both important steps on the process of success and achievement. These are also two of the easiest steps of the three, and this is why there's a lot of people who know what to do, yet few people who actually accomplish what they set out to accomplish. The reason for that is they're missing the third step. Now, this third and final step, this last C, it's necessary for achievement. It's necessary for a goal achievement and accomplishment. It's the difference maker. The third C is the secret. The third C is consistency of execution, doing what you know. What's interesting is a lot of us know exactly what we need to do, yet few of us actually do consistently what it is we know needs to be done. There are a lot of smart people who are broke. There are a lot of business people who know exactly what they need to do, and yet few who consistently do. So how do we get to be the most successful in any industry? We create a winnable game for ourselves. We set ourselves up to be able to remain consistent over time. Now, one of the ways we can do that is by practicing 52 and 17. This is working for long periods of time with regular breaks, because long periods of work without regular breaks lead to boredom and decreased engagement. And boredom and disengagement are the reasons most people fail to hit their goals. Cal Newport popularized this idea in his book, Deep Work. Here's what it is: 52 minutes of deep work, focused work, distraction-free work, followed by 17 minutes of break. 17 minutes of getting up out of your workstation, getting out of your environment, changing your state, doing something different to come right back to 52 more minutes of deep work. We have to be intentional about this structure, yet when we do these 3 C's, we're on the path to mastery. And that's where the rule of 100 comes in. The rule of 100 states that when you do something 100 hours a year, 18 minutes per day, you become better than 95% of the world's population at that thing. So right now we find ourselves in a little bit of fog. That's the industry. We can't change that. The fog, though, always eventually blows out. And some are going to get in the boats and give up, never to swim again. Some are going to keep swimming, knowing that opportunity is just on the other side of this fog. I want to encourage you to keep swimming.